Hey everybody, this is Derek with the Grumpy Guy Show for episode number 44. It took 15 years. Recorded on March 28th, 2022. Tonight we talk about General Motors, how Arizona is using Apple to bypass encryption, Linux, and more. Stick around. Good evening everybody, welcome to the Grumpy Guy Show. I'm Derek McAllister.
I'm Ryan McAllister.
So tonight we got another night where I put a whole bunch of things in there. Possibly some pretty darn short topics, but we'll see what we can do. In the meantime, we'll pick on Ryan again for not adding anything. He had a whole week where all he was on spring break at home. Didn't add anything. Notice the stone cold silence out of him. All right, so let's transition to our first topic. What do you say?
Sure. Transition time.
All right, so we're going to start out with a change that I saw coming to the Carrier Dome. Anybody who knows anything about college sports has heard of the Syracuse Carrier Dome. And, I've made it kind of clear that I don't think sports should be done right now because of COVID. You know, there's still so much anxiety around it and whatnot that, I think, yeah, they're getting tested and all that other crap, but I really don't think they should be playing. Talked about that before. So we're going to move on to a little bit of a difference here. So what they've decided with the Carrier Dome is they're changing the COVID protocol. So before you had to wear a mask the whole time, I should say in quotes, wear a mask, because, nobody enforced it. You'd see these people on television with a mask down around their chin, so that they could hear me screaming and whatnot. The mask was useless. But at any rate, you were required to wear a mask if you were not vaccinated and you didn't have a COVID test within, I think it was within a couple of hours of the game. If you did that, then you didn't have to wear a mask. But that required you showing your vaccination card or getting the test done there before the game so that they knew you were in fact not positive. So now they've changed it. So you don't have to show your vaccination card. You don't have to have a negative test. But if you go there, you have to, if you go to the game and you have not been vaccinated, you have to wear a mask. How are they going to know who the hell's been vaccinated and who hasn't?
I don't know.
They're not requiring anything to show that you've been vaccinated. You don't have to show them your card. They're not going to actually say, nope, you can't come in because we don't know.
Unvaccinated people probably don't wear masks anyway.
The unvaccinated people will not wear a mask when it comes to going to these things. So what's the point? Why not just say it's a free-for-all again? Because that's exactly what it is. Now, again, if you want to choose not to get vaccinated, that's your choice. I don't have an issue. You don't want to. That's your choice. But don't make it out like this is some great and wonderful thing saying that we're not going to require this and expect everybody to be completely and totally okay with it. I'm baffled on this, And now they're talking about some new subvariant that's starting to pick up, and from my understanding,
New variant just dropped.
Yeah. And my understanding is Tesla actually had to shut down their plant in China because the number of cases is increasing drastically to the point where that area of China has actually gone back into pretty much lockdown. So, but it's just ridiculous. I understand that, we've this 2-month thing that was supposed to be, as far as being, not quarantining, as far as being at home, it was supposed to be a 2-month thing. And here we are over 2 years later, and we're still dealing with this. We still got more variants coming. Yet the big focus is, okay, so let's have these big, huge sporting events all over the place. And let's give the okay for, the Oscars. They're all sitting there. Nobody's wearing a mask. In any of these things. Nobody's wearing a mask.
Exactly.
And when you start talking about these, the sports, whether it's professional, college, high school, they're not wearing a mask. But not only are they not wearing a mask, they're in very close contact with people who they aren't around very often. So, it's okay for them to travel all over the world and go wherever, but no, we can't have that with any normal person. It's just stupid. It's just another example of how everything is about money. And that's all it's about. It is. It's about money. It's really dumb. And that's the whole point of, I personally think that's the whole point of getting rid of this mask mandate at the Dome. They weren't selling as much beer because, well, in order to drink the beer, you got to pull your mask down, and people didn't want to do that because then they take a chance of getting in trouble. And so now without a mask mandate, hey, look at that, we can sell all kinds of beer again. Ridiculous. But what can you do, right?
Not really anything.
Yeah. We're just the little people that don't matter because I'm not shelling out $30 to go watch a stupid game. And that's $30 for the nosebleed seats. It doesn't even include parking. Yeah, it's gotten to be a bit of a racket. But at any rate, so I think it's time for transition number 2.
Transition. What's next?
So next, I was looking up potentially changing. Was that it? Yeah. So I was looking at insurance for my motorcycles, just because I kind of knew it was a little high, So, but at the time I didn't care because I just needed to get it insured so that they'd sell it to me. So I decided to look into it, and as I was looking into it, I signed up for a different company because, well, for the 2 bikes, I'm paying 1/3 the price that I was, and I'm getting better coverage. But, I downloaded the new app. I was looking at the insurance cards in the app, and one of the things it said was some states allow, they allow you to do, they allow you to use electronic insurance cards and whatnot. And then it was really funny because the same day we're sitting there watching the news, and it started talking about how some state is now allowing you to store your license in Apple Wallet. And I'm like, all right, so how's this going to work with these really big privacy people who are totally freaked out about the idea of the cops being able to say, unlock your phone. And of course, if you're using Face ID or fingerprint, you can't say no. If you're using a password or a PIN, you can. Because fingerprints they can get without a warrant. Your face they can get without a warrant. But ideas or thoughts in your head, they can't. And there's a limit. There's a limit to what a warrant can actually do. So this, I heard this and I was like, oh my God, how stupid can these people be? I'm going to make sure my phone is locked so that they can't unlock it. Oh, you need to see my wallet? Oh, let me unlock my phone for you and hand it to you. Hello? What the hell? What are they, so I believe it was Arizona is like the first state to allow this. And all I'm thinking is, okay, so Arizona just found a way for their police officers to get around the whole locking issue. Well, you need to show me your license. Well, my license is on my phone. Okay, then you need to unlock your phone. No, I'm not going to unlock my phone. Okay, then you're going to go to jail. No, I'm not going to unlock my phone. So then stand up, come on out. I'll put you in the cuffs. We'll go back to the car and I'll take you out of jail. Oh, no, here, I'll unlock my phone. So now the Arizona troopers win. Because as soon as the phone is unlocked, doesn't matter. They can do whatever they want with it. And, there's so many tech podcasts that point out, look at how much information about a person is stored on their phone now. Everything. You can find out so much information. As soon as you have that phone unlocked, most apps on there do not have their own separate password or their own separate login. They're all logged in constantly, which means, oh, well, let me peruse your end-to-end encrypted messaging service, whatever that is, whether it's, something like Signal or WhatsApp or whatever, doesn't matter. Because now they've got your phone, you've unlocked it, voluntarily unlocked it. And now they can go through and they can look at whatever the hell they want. If they suspect that you're, some kind of really bad guy who's got all kinds of information in your WhatsApp messaging system, you've unlocked your phone so that they can see your license. And now all they have to do is switch over to WhatsApp and look. And, oh, look at that. Here's your drug deal information. You're busted. We're going to go bust your buddy who's selling you the drugs. It's just, it's a huge issue, at least in my opinion. Unless, I don't know a ton about Apple. Maybe, just maybe you can look at...
do I.
It's possible you can look at Apple Wallet without, without having to unlock the phone. I don't know. But if that's the case, that would kind of concern me as well, because then somebody could see your credit card information. Sure, some of it's disguised, but not all of it. I know on Android, in order to use Google Pay, you have to unlock the phone. You can't even see the cards that are there unless you unlock the phone. So it's like, okay, I can't imagine Apple doing it any different. The privacy company that they are, I can't imagine them doing it any different than that.
Okay.
Yeah. We all know how that goes.
None of these tech companies care about your privacy.
They don't really. It's all just marketing. When they claim that they do, it's all marketing, and that's all it is. But I don't know. I know that it's not going to be long before they stop issuing actual physical copies of a license. And by not long, we might be looking at 10 years, maybe 15. I don't know. Some of it is you got to get the people who are totally against smartphones out of the system before you can actually force that. And there's a lot of people that aren't totally against them. They just don't have a use for them because they live someplace where there's no coverage. And yes, there are plenty of places where there's no coverage. It doesn't matter what carrier you have. You don't even have to go that far from our house here, and you can get someplace where there's no coverage by any of the main carriers. But I don't know. I don't know. But so yeah, look at that, folks. 2 topics, and we've only gone through 15 minutes. Ooh, maybe a short one as we make our next transition.
Number 3.
Yes, number 3. So this kind of goes back to the driving thing, and I noticed it really freaked me out as to why this is an issue. So General Motors is being forced to recall one of their SUVs. I can't remember which one it is, but the very first model that they have to recall was released in 2007. So it's 2007 through 2015 or something like that. And all I can think is, wait a minute, 2007. And this recall is it's not a recall that's about failures in the vehicle. This recall,
well, what's it about?
This recall is about the headlights being too bright.
What?
Yeah, so it can cause temporary blindness in oncoming traffic. Okay, I get that. But 2007.
2007.
That's 15 years ago. It took them 15 years to figure out that these stupid headlights are too bright? What the hell are these people doing? And I mean, obviously, this isn't GM. Because, their engineers design these lights and they know how bright they are. This is the federal government looking at it and taking 15 years to realize, oh, those lights are too bright. Whoa.
Oh.
I'm like, who the hell is looking at a 15-year-old car deciding, oh, hey, you know what? We got to get them for something. Your headlights are too bright. I'm just like,
why are they going after him now?
Yeah, and I believe that design for the headlights, not the model of the SUV, but the design, I believe they said it ended in 2015. So I'm like, all right, so I get it. There's going to be some on the road still. Okay. But it's been 15 years.
15 years.
And you would think, because, any of these model changes, they have to actually be reviewed by the NTSB. You would think that they would have noticed this
15 years ago.
Yeah. Well, it would have been more than that because it's got to be checked out before they can actually sell the damn thing. So, I mean, come on. This is just, it's insane to me to think that our government is moving so slowly that they wait 15 years before they actually decide to put in a freaking recall. And of course, the whole thing is GM's like, well, we don't know what we're going to do. Yeah, there's a recall, but we don't know what we're going to do. So I'm like, come on. Don't we have better things to do? I don't know. I'm just like, come on, people. Let's focus on some other things, like, a model of vehicle that's more common, or vehicles that burn
or
up.
Newer.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I understand there's going to be some on the road, but now you've got General Motors. They're going to have to spend they're going to have to spend $1 million in research.
15 years.
Yeah. they're going to have to spend $1 million in research and then several $1 million to recall these things. And of course, half the problem is you're probably going to find out that half these vehicles have been totaled, but hey, General Motors has got to fix them now.
Yep.
So they're going to have to do it because, well, there's a chance that somebody's going to drive it even though it was totaled in an accident.
Yep.
I'm just like, come on. Let's look at some better things than that. I mean, they have things that check the brightness of lights. Mm-hmm. It's all standardized.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, it's all standardized. And if they aren't checking these things, who from GM paid, for it to slip? I mean, that's the way that it is. Either they knew it was, they were too bright back in 2007, and they just let it slide.
15 years ago.
Or they didn't know, and it didn't slide. And if they didn't know, somebody's an idiot. That's
well, there are a lot
of
idiots.
Yeah, there's plenty of idiots out there, but most of them are not engineers.
Yeah.
Not saying there can't be some dumb ones, but most of the time, somebody who's working for GM as an engineer, they're gonna be towards the top of their game. You don't get too many rookies. Oh my! All right, so what do you say? Another transition?
Number 4.
Yeah, you see, folks, it took him a minute because he couldn't remember. We're keeping him awake. See?
Yep.
All right, so this topic, this is something that bothers me quite a bit. So,
a lot of things to bother you.
Yeah, but this one really gets under my skin because it doesn't take much of anything. So the problem is, now anybody who watches the video will know I'm just using my laptop camera, and the video quality isn't all that great. I'm fairly pixelated, and not that anybody really, really cares to see me, but I'm trying to make it so it's a decent looking podcast, right? I use a Linux laptop. I've made that very clear. I really enjoy Linux.
Yep.
But what I was trying to do is I was going to use my still camera, which is, a decent quality camera, to actually record myself. Excuse me. That way, the video would be better, and, I don't know, maybe I'd enjoy it a little more because it's better, but... So, I went online to find out how to do that with my camera. And popped up real quick, hey, this is how you do it. Right from Canon's site. So I thought, hey, okay, great. So I went there. So if you're using Mac, go here. If you're using Windows, go here. I'm not using either. Where do I go? Nowhere. They don't support it. And all I'm thinking is, okay, you don't support it. So then I start searching a little bit more. And I come across this thread. I don't remember where it was, but I came across this thread. Actually, it was on Canon's forum. Where somebody said, hey, if you don't want to support Linux, that's fine. Give us the stuff so that we can build it as open source. And, of course, nobody from Canon could bother to respond. And I'm like, seriously? So the most popular operating system in the world, Linux,
barely has
not
anything
supported.
that supports it seems.
Yeah. I mean, USB is supposed to be this universal thing. It's supposed to mean no drivers are needed at all to connect to your computer. You just plug it in and it goes. It doesn't work because these manufacturers, they get tie-ins from Microsoft so that they get all kinds of they get kickbacks for it. So these manufacturers are going with that. And they're not doing it, and they're probably getting kickbacks from Apple to do it as well. So it's like, really? You've got people that are volunteering, people that really, truly care about the ecosystem, volunteering to create something for you. You don't have to do anything other than give them access to the official thing. I don't, not being a developer of drivers, I don't know exactly what they need, but what they need can and won't give them. So I started looking into it, and somebody posted, "Hey, I figured it out. I got it working." And he starts going through all this stuff. I'm like, "Oh, that's way too much work to do." It's a workaround, and basically what you're doing is, you're taking something and you're trying to shoehorn this in, and then somebody else said, "Yeah, I've done that, and the video quality isn't that good." Well, then there's no point. So I'm just like, I'm like so annoyed that every time you turn around, there's no support. And yes, I want to go back to something I said. The most popular operating system in the world is Linux. Most people are going to say, "Oh, no, it's not. It's not. Windows is still far higher." As a desktop operating system, yes. Linux is the most popular out there, by far. Android, based on Linux. Chrome OS, based on Linux. Guess what, folks? Android. There's more Android handsets out there than there are Windows desktops. And it goes beyond that. Your ATMs, most of them run on Linux. So there's no reason there shouldn't be support for this stuff. Other than somebody's not getting any kind of kickback out of it at all. So, here we are, we're stuck with things where you got to do stuff. If you can't connect via Wi-Fi to it, then you can't do anything with it. Or you got to hope and pray that somebody decided to build an open source version of it. Or you have to hope that their version is so old that it'll run using emulation like Wine, even though Wine stands for Wine is not an emulator. Yeah, it's basically a way of emulating Windows. It's a way to trick the program into thinking that it's running on Windows. But, not everything works on that. So, I don't know. It's just more and more frustrating because everybody is locked into Windows, which, to take a driver that you have for Android and make it work for general Linux isn't going to be a whole lot different. My guess is that's why so many open source developers are saying, "Hey, give us what we need and we'll do it for you." I don't know. All right, folks, final transition because that's all we got.
You can probably hear the music in the background.
Oh, listen to you. All right, everybody.
Good night.
We'll see you.